She went to Brooklyn College, and they were very kind of aggressively modern, straight A's all the way through. Extremely competitive. It was a challenge for her to be better than everyone, particularly the smart Jewish boys. She had had a Fulbright to Italy in biology, and she was very curious about all intellectual things. She made friends with a lot of artists, and one of those artists had a show with me. We had a two-person show at the Tanager Gallery, and she came, you know, and we sort of like were on the same wavelength. She's the best social dancer I ever met. Okay? And I come from a dance culture. All we did in high school was dance and wear clothes. I mean, it was like an empty high school. There just was nothing there at all. I was absolutely amazed that she could follow me there. I just thought this girl's a great dancer. When you're dancing, it was so, and touching hands, you sort of know everything you want to know about a girl in about a couple of minutes. She had a fantastic smile. Never made any social mistakes. I never met anyone like that. Always in the right moment, and always dots the I's and Q's. And thinks about other people all the time. She always thinks about other people. She has great style and taste, you know, with clothes. And she's very unusual. A mother had great taste and style, and made all her clothes till she was 27. So she had very fancy clothes all the time. Particularly if you're very poor and you have no style, it's depressing. You're in poverty. But if you have style, you know, you can get through things. I decided I wanted to paint portraits in a new style. You know, there's the flat background, and I had maybe a year. Maybe all of '57 was in that, and I met her at the end of '57, so I already was on my way there, you know. And it coalesced with Ida. Yeah. It took about almost a year. When I got the oval painting that's in the Jewish Museum show, that's when I got it. I knew I had it at that point. That was '59, I guess, '58, '59. And that was like I went to the top of the bubble of fashion with that show, yeah. And people hated me, they wouldn't speak to me. Well, they said like illustration and stuff. Actually, people were screaming in my shows till about 1975. Just lose their marbles and scream. Because the paintings are not paintings, it's like fake art or something, I don't know why. Well, the stable show, my first stable show was you know, that was it. It's really left 10th Street for good. The stable show in, I don't know, it was 59 or 60, in the old stable. And if you could control that space, you were like really well known. And then from that I got the Whitney show, which I got the bad review. I had 5 shows and we didn't sell anything. And Fishbecker had this 5. Nothing to speak of, yeah. Seymour Levine bought a painting in one of those shows, small painting, and gave it to the Whitney, like a tip. Well, on the 5th show I started to sell, I started to sell, and it was still mostly artists on the 5th show, but we started to sell to strangers on the 5th show, yeah. And it just kept slowly just going up. Well, I did some trees before, and I was never really satisfied with the way I painted bark. A realistic painting has to do with some things specific and other things generalized, and it's within different systems. And what's odd about my thing is the system is different. Some forms are open and other forms are closed. At 50 feet it's very volumetric and looks kind of realistic. If you come up close to it, you can see that it's painted very broadly, and the modeling is very slight. People don't think of it as realistic painting, but that's what it is. And I like the idea of putting a tree in the middle of a canvas. That was the dumbest thing. I mean, it's so dumb, I can't believe it. All the things start from life, and I go outdoors with this and I paint. Maine's a place I get away. You can't live in New York year-round. As an artist, very few artists have ever managed to do it. They stay for 6 or 7 years and get a place out. In Maine, everything just winds down. For years, when we first went there, 7 years, we didn't even have a telephone. We had an outhouse. no electricity, and we read by kerosene on lamps. The artifact is the baseball hat, right? And the scene is a romance scene, a Maine harbor, which everyone can relate to. But Katz had muscles on top of muscles. Yeah, Daddy was a he-man. Father had a lot of taste and style. Yeah,
is that where it comes from?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it has to do with European culture. You know, it's a whole different thing. And her parents, European culture too. Father was a socialist and had to leave the country, had to leave Italy before Mussolini got him. And they both listened to opera on Sunday afternoon. So the families were basically similar. We came from the same kind of families. Yeah. My mother was like this super Jewish princess of all time. She was like a farmer's daughter. I mean, she was a real knockout. She left at Bialystok when she was like 14 or 15. She said, "This town has nothing more to offer me. I want to go to Palestine." So they sent her to Palestine. And she went there for a year or two. And then she said, "I want to become an actress." So she went to Odessa. And she started acting. She said with Stanislavski, but she always lied. I have no idea whether it's true or not. She was taking a train back from St. Petersburg to Bialystok, and she stopped at a town called Lida. And the war had curtailed my father's activities. He was a playboy, and he used to play mostly in Vilna. He opened a soup kitchen for poor people and amateur acting for his friends. And she said she was a professional. He said, "Why don't you work with me?" And that was the start. I went to this high school where you could do art half a day. That's when I went. And it was supposed to be commercial, but I saw these antique drawings. I started doing it every day for years, and I got very good at it. But the thing of the cast drawing was that it's a system. But at the end of 3 years, I found out I could draw a cast real well. Cooper was a modern art school in a time when Matisse might get a bad review in New York. Yeah. So it was half design and half cubism. Cubism was very easy for me. You have to cast draw. I thought it'd be nice if I could get a teaching job someplace. I'd be a part-time painter. And I got jobs in frame shops and house painting. And I did that for almost 10 years. 10 years of living with no radiators. Yeah, really rough stuff. And after 10 years, very shortly after, I was offered visiting critic at Yale. I was a visiting critic for 3 years, and then they offered me to be staff. And it took me about 10 seconds. I said, "I'm not going to be staff." I figured I got so good so fast in art school, I figured in 20 years I could make some real art. That was the idea. I mean, compete with really great artists. Give me 20 years. What I wanted was just 20 years. I have a huge audience compared to what it was when I started. It was all around 100 people or so. But it seems like some wines travel and others don't, and some art travels and others don't. And my art seems to travel very well. So I'm more successful in Europe than I am here right now. I think they appreciate traditional painting, that part of my painting, more, and they have more of a historic sense of me. You know, I got fairly nice reviews in the art magazines. Well, guys like Fairfield Porter was a critic, or Frank O'Hara, they wrote things for me about me, and Jimmy Schuyler, they gave me very nice reviews in art news. My first bad review was at the Whitney, and that was like Emily Genoa gave me a real bad review, and he said the paintings were thin and I couldn't draw. And I was saying, I couldn't argue with it. The paint is thin, and the drawing was very casual. And 20 years later, she came and gave me a bad review again. And then I got a great bad review from Hilton Kramer. And that established me. He gave me the amount of space he could build a Kuna. Kinsman Stein had a show of big paintings at the Jewish Museum, and I had a cocktail party in it, which is 9 by 12 feet and really rough. And all the rest was just, I think, second generation abstract expressionists or something, I don't know. But he just let the whole show go and spent the whole thing about saying what was wrong with my character. How I swapped, I used to be a good painter, and then I'm trying to hop on a bandwagon or something, like really, like something wrong with my character. Anyway, the cut was 9 by 12 inches. It was bad all the way through, and I called my mother up and she said, "Oh, you finally got someone interested in you." Dear old mom.